Welcome to the Only the Greatest podcast, where we explore the vital connection between fitness and success in all areas of life. We are your hosts, Daryl, Phil, Sean, special guest. We are your hosts, and our goal is to help you become the greatest version of yourself, and we do that through two different show types. Every Friday, we'll come to you with a full-length episode that may or may not include a guest, and Tuesdays, you'll get a little nugget of knowledge that you can immediately implement in your health and fitness journey.
If you happen to find any value in this show, all we ask of you is to leave a quick review and mention exactly what helped you out. If you're listening on YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave that review in a comment.
The one and only sponsor of this show is ourselves. We are OTG Fitness. OTG stands for Only the Greatest. And OTG Fitness is a private personal training gym located on the south side of Houston in Webster, Texas. You can find out more information about OTG Fitness by visiting otgfitness.com or searching OTG Fitness on any social media platform. So that being said, today is Friday. So Daryl, you want to introduce our guest and we'll get this thing rolling?
Man, I'm ready.
Me too.
We got Phil's my best friend. We got two Phils. Yeah. So
Phil squared.
Yeah. Phil. Oh, hey, Sean, make sure we don't blast the listener, the viewers on YouTube.
Right there.
We might have to cut that because it seems that each time we just forget.
They're gonna be like, Yeah. No, it's all good, man. So those of y'all who are listening on the podcast platform or the audio platform cannot see our badass Only the Greatest neon sign that Sean had blinking, but it's really nice. Compliments of Denny.
Yes.
Shout out to Denver. That was a gift.
Oh, wow.
For Phil. But
Denver got me that for
really it was
for Christmas.
But really it was for all of
right?
us.
That's nice right there.
Mm-hmm.
Open carefully.
How do you even ship that? But anyway.
Nah, it was nice. It came packaged nicely.
It is Friday, which means we have a full-length episode. And I know in the intro we say we may or may not have a guest. Well, today we definitely have a guest. His name is also Phil, so not to be confused with Phil and Phil.
Well, we got a PH.
Oh, we got a PH Phil.
Yeah,
Phil.
And we got an FIL and a PHIL. So Phil and a Phil. But so Phil is a friend of OTG. Phil is a friend of Phil, and now he's a friend of myself and Sean. And anybody who we think is anybody who we're close to, who I feel like we can learn something from everybody. Yeah. So that's kind of what we try to do, get all different types of perspectives and individuals on here from all different backgrounds. So we got Phil today, and I'm going to hand the mic to you in just a second, Phil. Tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, what do you do, how do you know OTG, how do you know Phil?
Sure.
And then we'll just roll right into a conversation because, like I told you, you're going to say something that interests me, and I want to ask you about it. So, or one of us will.
Yeah, sure.
So go ahead, brother.
Sure. Okay. My name's Philip Berrera. Different one right there.
Berrera?
Been here in Houston for all 51 years. Native Texas.
51. Hey, man, you don't look 51.
Thank you. Thank you. I get that. That's a good thing. So,
yeah.
Sure.
Let's talk about why soon.
Yeah.
Right. Native Texan, all 51 here in Houston. Live in the League City area. I'm an insurance agent with Farmers Insurance. Mm-hmm. And actually, I met Phil through our networking association, BNI. He was on us for a couple of years.
Yep.
And then I joined up with OTG for about a good 8 months. It had to be something like that, one term. And while I was there, I got to learn quite a bit more about just being a more effective workout where I was before doing a long time. He showed me how to, get in there, be efficient, knock it out. And,
a little more efficient style.
A lot more efficient, a lot better too. So that's our relation. Yeah.
So y'all just, you met through the networking group and you were like, man, I want some personal training. So
I like I like Phil's story. I like the story.
Sure. And not to mention, y'all traded services, right?
Yep.
So Phil did Phil's insurance and Phil did Phil's training.
Yeah. Correct. And I knew that Phil was a great guy because obviously we got to know each other through a networking group and everything, right?
I would have just judged it based off how handsome he is.
Well, obviously.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, obviously. But, I had told him that I wanted to, get some quotes or whatever. He's, how insurance people are, man. They're real. A lot of them are real pushy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy out there. And you can maybe give more insight into this if you want to. You don't have to, but it seems to be that way quite a bit. And same thing in the fitness world, to be honest. Most people don't realize that, but you get somebody that's maybe not comfortable with where they're at in their lifestyle, with the way they look and stuff like that. And next thing you know, they got some fitness person like shoving it down their throat that they need to do program XYZ, need to lose weight. It makes people feel real uncomfortable. Yeah. And maybe we can relate a little bit of that within our businesses. Yeah. They're very similar. And we really try to not do that. Yeah. We really try to make people feel comfortable. And that's how I felt when I talked to Phil. Yeah. He was like, hey, let me do this for you. And I told him my list of insurance needs, from the rentals to the cars, to my own personal home, to the gym as well. Right. Yeah. And he came back to me a couple of days later. He's like, hey man, I just want to let you know that I did well on a couple of things, but there's a couple, I think you should just keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. 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 And I was like, bro, sign me up for those, for the ones that you said, and then I'll keep what you recommended. Yeah. And I just felt really good about that. He got me a good rate at the gym, but he was honest with me about my vehicle situation at the time. He's like, this is the best I can do. I think you're probably better off just doing what you're doing now. Yeah. And he also got saved me some money on my rental homes. So on those. And so he covers those.
The homeowners and so forth.
The homeowners, the hazard stuff. Yeah. And then there was the flood. I have a flood insurance situation. And he was like, hey man, don't think I can do it. Yeah. And I was like, I appreciate that. Let's do what we can. Yeah. And I was like, it's been cool ever since.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always been about just advising, educating. I've always been about not doing to others what I don't want done. I don't want to be pushed on, Right. If I go somewhere, just let me know about it. If I want to be there, I'll be there. If I don't, let me leave, let me be done. Not, what can we do to put you in this car, so to speak, kind of thing like that. And I don't like that. So I don't do that back. I just try and educate. And I find more that when I educate people on insurance versus selling them, usually it sells itself. Right. If you've done it right, then okay, well now what? And then we're done. But when you're trying to put a round peg in a square hole, it's not worth my time, their time, and they're usually gone in 6 months because it wasn't meant to be. So,
you are not for sure. You're not only wasting their time, but your own. You're putting all this effort into this thing, and then it doesn't even work. Have you always handled your business that way, or did you learn this in time? Like, how'd that go?
I think it took a little bit of time. I've been in sales my entire life, and so in one form or another since college. But when I was doing it early on, you're a young guy and, trying to force this sale and going, hey man, I sold that. And next thing you know, they're back in there a month later with the return receipt, giving it back. And in insurance at first, trying to build your book of business, want everybody you can get and forcing a few that probably I shouldn't have. And I got them. And what I found was that it just wasn't a good fit overall, just not from the price standpoint, but from the relation too. They really didn't want to be there. They were calling a lot. Not that you don't want to help and you're realizing, this was, not the way to do it. So it took a little bit of time to figure out what I was doing before, just do it here too and just let it go. And again, if it's there, they'll see it. If it's not, you'll see it and just, move on.
Practice makes perfect, man.
Yeah, I can relate 100% to that. People come in to the gym, right? And fitness is very much relationship as well. Yeah. What I tell everyone is that my main goal, now we have more goals as well, but my main goal is to help someone kind of like how you are. It's part of your lifestyle, right? You're 51, but even now, and you'll even text me sometimes, hey, I'm hurt my elbow, right? And just like, hey, I want to make sure I keep going because it's part of your lifestyle, right? So my advice to everyone, or my recommendation is, we got to get you to a point where you can do this for a long time. And if we don't like each other, you're not feeling good at this gym and you're not comfortable, or the advice that you're getting is not vibing with you and our tones aren't matching up, it's not going to work long-term. And same thing in the beginning, studying sales, your typical sales stuff, push hard. Yeah. That's what it all says, right? If you study sales, push, force, make them. People come back a month later, cancel. Yeah. Yep. And then what ends up happening with us is, even if they don't ask for a refund, like that little bit is just, we spend so much time, and same for yourself. You spend so much time researching, answering questions and everything for them to only stay with you for a month. Yeah. It's not even worth it.
Yeah. I learned early on from our, my first district manager. He said, hey, you get somebody who's tough, it doesn't fit, you might as well give them your own money because it's going to come out cheaper for you to just give them your money versus bringing them on. And I was like, but then once I saw it, I was going, yeah, he's right. Just, it is to be, almost organic, I guess, in a way, just, a natural fit for both of y'all. I do know when I went to you at the beginning, the very first meeting, you said something for me. It's kind of the same line right there. You were saying that whatever path I pick for my fitness and my diet, it needs to be sustainable. It needs to be, realistic. And it's kind of the same. You set that expectation going, okay, now I understand. So that was, big value for me right there. When you were actually not selling me, but, advising me on, what need to be done. And it needs to be something, that's realistic for my lifestyle or what my goal is. So, yeah.
So I am hearing something very interesting here that y'all didn't say it exactly the same, but you started off, Phil, Phil, by saying you have more of a style now where you educate somebody and then the insurance will typically sell itself, at least in some capacity.
Correct.
Whether it's like Phil, where there's kind of a hybrid where you got some and he's got some over here with somebody else, but you'll sell, right? If you educate them. It sounds like Phil, and I know this about Phil, he can sell personal training and his services simply by educating the people that come in, or that's one of the tactics that he naturally leverages, because Phil's not gonna push when somebody comes in the door. He's gonna feel out who they are. He's gonna start educating them. Like he said to you, hey, we need to be able to do this for a long time. We gotta teach you. We gotta lay all the groundwork, and that has created a sale, but also a long-lasting relationship, friendship between y'all two. And another thing you both said is basically, honesty. Hey, man, I can beat these numbers for these policies, but I can't. These are good numbers here, so stay there, and I'll take care of these. And Phil doesn't want anybody at the gym who doesn't want to be at the gym. Right. And that's kind of the same. That's kind of the same mindset there, right? Yeah.
Creates a bad culture.
It creates a bad culture.
Yeah. It's almost like it's almost like honesty is a sales tool in itself in a way.
Now it is
100%.
Now it is.
Yeah.
Especially now.
Yeah.
Now
consumers have gotten a lot smarter, right?
World travels a lot faster with these devices in our hands, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For sure. They know they can call you out on your BS real fast. It's a lot different.
Yeah.
My wife is in, my job is not sales, but my wife is in sales. And honesty has built her portfolio extraordinarily. Honesty with her coworkers, like her company, and then her clientele as well. I've heard her take multiple calls, and she has said, hey, Phil, I this equipment that you're looking for, I'm just going to use one example. We do not have anything available, or our prices are right now, because of low availability, are extremely high. You may want to check out X, Y, and Z other vendors and see what they can do. Yeah. And what ends up happening? They end up trusting her, and maybe they don't do that one deal with her, but they will come back to her. And you know what else they'll do? They'll tell their friends, hey man, hey Daryl, I called Phil, and he was really super honest with me about my insurance. And he told me he can beat this and he can't beat that. And I trust this guy, and you should too. So the word of mouth starts to spread. Right. Yeah. And they say, that the people who are buying from my wife will tell their friends and coworkers, and then somebody like Phil will and has told me about you, and it goes on down the line. Yeah. So it can build a portfolio, it can build a book of business. More importantly, long lasting, trusting relationships. Yeah.
What's funny right now in my inbox at home, before I came here, there was a guy, AT&T guy in my office doing some work, asked about auto insurance, because they always do. They're there. Yeah, self-insurance. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So, he said, you remember some numbers. Told me a story how he has some high rates for certain, activity for his kids and whatnot. So he's in a bind. And I gave him my quote. And I was like, man, this is high. I'm going to give it to you. But actually, I referred him to some guys in B&I. I said, listen, go try them. Yeah. He said, okay. Gave him the numbers, and he left. And he said, listen, give me a call the beginning of this month. So I called him. He was like, hey, I'm still looking. Okay, fine. Like he said, so I did. email today. Hey man, I'm going with you. And I was like, are you sure? I said, are you sure? It's more. I know, but this just, it just works. I go, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Trust probably someone in there, maybe there are things he might have not shared about why he needs to, what makes me better. But again, just getting back to, I know I'm not going to try and tell you that something at this price way high up here is a better deal. I'm just, I'm going to give it to you and just leave it at that. And
this is what I can do, man.
Let it play out. Yeah.
And I've seen that same situation happen with my wife as well, where she's like, hey, these rates are crazy. Check out XYZ. And then they call her back soon and go, hey, you know what? I don't really like how these people treated me. Yeah. And they did beat your rate, but their customer service wasn't there. And then when I brought it up, it was kind of like, kind of rude or whatever it is. And so you know what? I'm going to pay more and use you. Yeah. And I trust you more anyway because you were honest with me.
I've had a few do that. Had a few. Literally said, it's more, but I value what you're doing here for me. So I'm like, man, that's...
Customer service is extremely overlooked in the business world. Daryl taught me this one, and we've brought this up several times. He already knows the story I'm going to tell.
Go ahead.
The best thing that you can do in business is to tell people what you're going to do and then do it.
And then do it.
And just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to go above and beyond, but by just doing it, you are going above and beyond everyone else, usually.
Yeah. Doing what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. Mm-hmm. And there's some nuances, right? Sometimes things happen, but communicate up front, honesty. But the most important thing is say, hey, this is the thing I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And then they say, okay. And then you turn around and you go, okay, well, do this. Yeah. And you do it. Right. Yeah. And so I use a lot of contractors and vendors in my real estate investment portfolio. And unfortunately have to use them a lot, especially the plumbers and the AC guys and so forth. And, I do pay premium rates to these individuals, these great contractors that I use to do the work. And likely I could probably get somebody to do it cheaper than them. But these guys have proven to me time and time again that they will do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it. And I texted my plumber today. Hey, this is the issue that I'm having. Here's the tenant's contact number. Do whatever, fix it. Yeah. Get with them. And they send me the thumbs up emoji. And I guarantee you by the end of the day today or tomorrow, they're going to send me an invoice and the tenant's going to go, hey, plumber's knocked it out. It's good.
That's what you want.
That's what's going to happen. And I pay these guys premium rates because they show up, they do what they say they're going to do when they're going to do it. Hey, Daryl, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to fix it. Hey, Daryl, I went over there and fixed it. All good. So, thank you so much. Yeah. Have a good day. And that's it. And
wasn't that easy?
Yeah. Wasn't that so easy?
It catches you off guard. Like, what?
Yeah. In the beginning it did. Yeah. Now I got aces up my sleeve with these guys. And you know what else happens? The trust builds because like there's been a situation where recently had a really bad plumbing issue that didn't seem bad at first. We'll go over there and knock this out. It's no big deal. And actually while I was in Hawaii, so I'm communicating with these people at like 2:00 in the morning, my Hawaii time, but it's like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning here, whatever it is. And anyway, they go over, yeah, cool. We'll show up, we'll knock it out. Boom. They go over there first thing. And, cause I told the tenants to go I bought them a hotel room for the night because the plumbing was messed up and the wife was having some issues. I don't have to do that, but I did. Yeah. And, my plumber tells me, hey, tell them do not rebook that, hotel room. I'm fixing this. Mm-hmm. And so he shows up, figures out it's a lot bigger problem than it sounded like it was on the phone because he had this idea in his head. And he immediately calls me and is like, Daryl, I'm so sorry. It's likely going to carry over into tomorrow. This is a really big deal and it's not what I thought it was. And I'm sorry. And I'm like, I believe you, dude, because 99 other times you've went over there and did what you said you're going to do. So, if another contractor would have told me that, oh, hey man, I thought it was small and now it's huge and it's going to be more thousands of dollars. I'd go, I don't know if I trust you, man. I think you might be running the bill up on me.
He'd probably be calling me like, hey man, can you go check this out for yourself? One of those kinds of things. And now you're wasting a bunch of people's time.
Now you're wasting everybody's time. Mm-hmm. And so I use people that do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it. And that's it.
And that's kind of funny. That I guess in a way to me carries over to building a bad reputation for professions by not delivering, or, a tactic, so to speak. And I learned that real fast when I got into insurance. I did not know this, got into it, and, I'm reading lists of some insurance, and surprised found so many people who had a negative opinion of insurance. And I did not know this. And I was like, wow, y'all really, and they told me stories. Yeah, they lied to me and this and that. And I was going, wow, I had no idea that the profession had so many people who would cause problems, misrepresent, lie, whatever it is. And, it took me some time to overcome that. And I don't get that in my place, now, cause I don't do it that way, but it's something that, not to, again, go further now with BNI and referrals, I don't deal with that stranger now because they've, I've been mentioned to somebody where I don't have that anymore. But when you're dealing with that cold call, that call in somewhere very like, what are you going to give me? Are you going to give me the best price? Or, or ask that question. Well, what are you paying? I'll tell you later. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I get why now, because they've been, done wrong by somebody out there on what they're doing.
I struggled with that a lot at first. People would come in looking for personal training, and they would tell me the story about this other place they just went to last week. And it was just, not only was it expensive, they had some bait and hook, or bait and switch, sorry, is the term. Are you familiar with that term? Yeah, they had some bait and switch tactic to get them in the gym. Like, oh, hey, show up. It's going to be $200 or whatever for X program. Next thing you know, like they're asking them for $2,000 on their credit card or something. I'm just making numbers up right now. But yeah, this happens a lot in our industry as well. And we don't do that. It's very straightforward. Here's what it is. And people really appreciate that.
I like with you when I got there, you were really the first time ever I did a personal trainer.
Okay.
Solid, knew about it. I was like, I don't need that, but I'm getting banged up. So I was like, maybe I do need one time. But when I got there, you were direct, focused about the business. Let's get in, let's do it, on your way. But you were educating the entire time. There was no, it was a clear path. That you had there.
Very important.
And actually, I still have all the things I asked you about. I said, hey, Phil, give me the workout. He gave it to me. I still got them. I still use them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, because, you can do one thing so many times, but now I've got a whole little library of things you gave me that I still use today. So there's value in just being focused and, again, delivering what you're going to say, not, turning it around. So definitely know about bait and hook.
They're the old bait and switch.
Yeah, it happens a ton because the thing about fitness is, we're all guys here. We all work out and we like to work out, but let's just admit,
especially Sean.
Well, duh. You see that lat spread? You see that lat spread on this guy? But people in general don't like to exercise.
Yeah.
Right. So you really have to go above and beyond to reel them in.
To get them to pay you to do something that they don't want to do anyway.
Because that's the funny, and the thing maybe related with insurance is if insurance wasn't required by law, how many people would do it?
Yeah,
I know.
Paying insurance sucks.
Yeah.
So you have to go above for us, and you have to go above and beyond because people don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Same with insurance. They don't want to, but they have to because it's law.
I've never, with insurance, never got how there are people that they're habitual shop. And that's fine too. You're going to shop, but every 6 months or a year, they're doing the whole, I'm going to shop. And I'm like, wow, that is a lot of work. And it kind of tells me, a lot of work. If it's just a small change in price, that's telling me that whoever you're with probably is not somebody who's, doing you the right way, or you don't feel good there. If it's a big jump, I get finances and that makes a lot of sense. You got to do what you got to do. But habitually, going out there and shopping the same thing. Most folks do not want to get out there and call 14, 20, whatever, or do online quotes and get that, influx of call. They want to, be somewhere. And if you can, make them happy, then they're probably going to stay just because they don't want to.
Yeah. Cause next thing you know, you got 37 missed calls, from all these places. And
if you do what you say you're going to do, they're going to trust you enough to not be out there. They say, you know what, man, I trust Phil so much that maybe I could find somebody that's $20 cheaper or might save me $100 a year or whatever it is. But this guy is such an ace that I'm just going to pay him a little bit more. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to think about it. And I'm going to rest assured, rest insured that, you know.
New tagline.
Yeah. Yeah. Rest insured.
There you go.
Rest insured with
me.
Yeah. So
What'd you do before entrance? You said you've been in sales forever.
Yeah,
What'd you
I was
do
going to ask
before
that same question.
The sales part was all through college. I sold everything in college. I sold pants. I sold tools. I sold flowers. I sold ceiling fans. I sold everything. Cameras. I sold cameras, video cameras, you name it. Lots
Now you're speaking Sean's language.
Yeah, pretty much all.
Sean's like, you got any sweet deals?
Yeah, right.
No, then I got out of school. Okay, now it's time to get a job. So yeah, I spent the better part of 15 years doing various types of accounting, IT work. Yeah, right before this, I was in IT.
Okay.
Yeah, data security, things like that, data extractions, and then finally made a decision. I was like, you know what? I do not want to work for somebody else and make the same money versus year over year. So I finally said, yeah, let's go out there and put a shingle up there, be my own boss and never look back. And it's worked out much better.
Wow.
Tell
me a little bit about what's going through your mind at a time. Like, did you have kids at that time? I know you have.
Yeah. The whole full story is that I'm not gonna mention the company.
Okay.
They were doing massive layoffs. And we kept avoiding it. And finally we got down to so few people. We're like, okay, it's going to be one of us now. I mean, there's nobody else here.
Yeah.
And I got that ring and it was in 2008. And that was, some of the bad economy. The house market took a dip and got laid off, got a very good severance. That was nice. And was looking around for a bit. And me and my wife had actually been kind of toying with farmers insurance on the side for her, let's become agents. And about a month or so into looking for a job, I was like, you know what? I've got this big severance. This is not what I want to do. I don't like being in that kind of job. Let's give it a go. Got her blessing, parsed that money out to make it last. And we just basically went for it. And it did take some time to deal with it. It was scary going from literally, a good paying job to nothing. And then saying, okay, this month there's this much money and so on down the line. But, the good Lord reserve, he was with us, and it lasted and, we got it going. And the stress level year by year finally came down to where now I'm honestly living a good life.
Cruising.
Yeah. Well, not just from a money standpoint, but I was telling a friend yesterday at the office, I love my life.
Important.
Yeah. I mean, I love when I step back from it. Is there stress in what I do? Well, sure there is. There's stress in what you always have stress, but the benefits of what I have are just fantastic. And I get to get up in the morning at a certain time, go work out every day like I want to, come home, clean up, go to work, open the office. I run the show. Don't mind staying late because it's my office. That was a big thing for me, is that I was at, corporate working until 7:30, 8 at night because everybody else was there. There's that whole game. I'm not going to leave before you leave.
Yep.
Now I'm there because I want to be there, so it's my show. And I just like this a lot better and couldn't be happier with, the way this has gone for me. It's a good
Man,
thing.
So,
I love that.
So how long, when did you, when did you become, did you get your agency started?
2008.
So that same year.
Yeah, technically.
Okay.
So actually, 2007 we got appointed, and that was her at her corporate job and me, and it was going to be her actually the whole time. And me, I was like, I'm fine here in corporate, doing my thing. Really, I was, I guess, blindly okay, didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And then she decided she didn't want to go that route. We were still licensed. The layoff came, and I was like, you know what? I got this license here, and I used to be in sales.
Yeah. So you went ahead and did it.
Pretty much. And yeah, it was, it's what it was. I look at my office now from where it started, just the physical office, and it's come a long way.
Is it the same location, or you've moved around a couple times?
Yeah, I was in some bad areas because that's what I could afford.
Sure.
And some weird offices, and now I've got just more. It's more proof that I've gone the right direction. I've got a nice office, love being there. And
what are some of the challenges you faced like early on, like opening the office and getting everything started in 2008?
Learning how to do it.
Yeah,
that was. I mean, it's. I open, put your shingle up, and then okay. We're open.
Yeah.
And then straight up crickets.
Yeah.
If you build it, they will come.
You don't have a list of contacts.
Exactly.
You don't have people that trust you yet.
Yeah. There's no like social media out there where it's like, that's like a super easy way to just broadcast and advertise now for free.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier. Back then, it's just
There
kind
was
of
a lot of door knocking,
Yeah.
a lot of donuts being bought, a lot of donuts.
yum.
a lot of girls at the apartment complexes, and everybody. Oh yeah, thank you very much. And that's the last you heard of. I was like, man, these donuts are expensive. What am I going to do? So I actually finally dawned on me to do believe it or not, a marketing letter.
Yeah.
It was definitely still pricey.
Mail?
Mail
US
out. Yeah. And, I was putting out the better part of 5,000 letters a month.
Nice.
Just paper in the town in various areas. And to this day, I'm still amazed because when I get the mail, it's very basic. If it's for me, that stack.
Yeah.
If it's, who are trash, I'm going boom, trash. Say the
I
word,
know.
I'm trash. So when somebody gets my letter, they go, oh, let's and I'm like, wow, you called. And that still blows me away that people actually call on that letter. That was what saved me back then because people responded to it. A lot of money out the door on one side, but it definitely paid returns on the back end.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that was your breakthrough.
That
you
was
think?
my break,
And what
yeah.
year was that? So how long, what year was that, I guess?
Yeah, shoot, the next year, 09.
Okay.
Had to figure it out fast.
Yeah. and then how long until you kind of felt, let's put this in air quotes, comfortable?
4 or 5 years. Yeah,
Okay.
I would say. Just, I wanted to get back to where I was. My whole goal my goal was to actually get back to the income I was at when I left my previous company. Let's get there first. I'll call that square one and then we'll go forward. And obviously I've hit that, gone past it, but
You needed that at year 4?
that was about year 4.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
So within 4 years, you replaced your income
Yeah.
for yourself.
Yeah.
Doing something completely different too.
Yeah. It was tough. And that's funny too. I never
Say
thought
it wasn't. I bet that wasn't an easy. Oh yeah, 4 years. I bet it was 4 years of
a lot of stress. There's a lot of stress.
Yeah.
There were a lot of times not to be negative about it, but I was angry. I'm saying
Yeah.
this is hard, but
Frustrated.
just wow, this is not an easy path. And one thing about me, I don't know if it's positivity or just plain stubborn, but I'm stubborn. If I say I'm going to do something, I do not quit. I'm just like, okay, we're going to do this. And it could all be falling around. No, I think we're going to get this done. It could be just falling down everywhere. No, we'll get this done.
It's gonna be fine.
Figure
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Don't worry about it. I might be like a George Custer. No, we got it, guys. Don't worry about it.
I mean, that lack of quit though. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like I think a lot of people need that when they're starting anything new, entrepreneurial. It's like I was listening to some podcast recently, and it always talks about how quickly people kind of give up, when it's hard or when they do get angry. And I think that's totally fine to feel every bit of those emotions. It's like I feel the sadness, I feel the anxiety, I feel the happiness, the anger, all of it, because they're all valid emotions to get you to where you are now. So
Big unknown. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you'll agree. I mean, you got all your clients. I wonder once in a while, wow, what's going to, there's always that unknown doing this, no matter what. You hope for, and it probably will be okay, but you always wonder where's it going to go from here. What is next, and but that's a trade off versus getting that weekly paycheck, biweekly paycheck. But the things that come with that biweekly, for me anyway, I was like far get outweighed by. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather take the stress of this than the security of knowing. But being locked into
taking on that risk.
This here. Well, no risk, no reward, I guess you could say in a way,
Those are all those emotions that Sean mentioned. Like you said, they're very valid and they're very real.
Yeah.
And I think that it's unfortunate that a lot of times from the outside looking in, people look at people like yourself. Others look at people like yourself who now you are in a good position.
Yeah.
Right. But now we're sitting here talking about 15 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
It didn't feel the same way.
No.
And it's impossible to comprehend the emotions that you were feeling at that time. Even though you live a good life now, we were talking about traveling a few minutes ago downstairs, right? Stuff like that. All this stuff's amazing.
Yeah.
And I want to commend you for that, because unless someone's been through it, you can't comprehend those emotions and how that feels.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. Yeah, one thing I think about just talking about as I thought about it is from 08 to now, I can think about, especially early on when I was really, back in our district office, because that was where I housed at. Just tons of faces are in my mind right now. People who tried doing this who are no longer doing this. So many people I can think of who, for whatever reason it was, it didn't pan out. Bad marketing, overanalyzing, just some unfortunately dishonesty for some, getting back to that, just but a whole myriad of reasons why it didn't work out. And the mere fact that I got to survive, again, I'm blessed,
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, just to be standing here, I'm quite happy.
Well,
Yeah, that's
the
amazing.
opportunity presented itself, but you still have to do the work.
Oh,
That's
for sure.
what I tell people. Cause especially with when you're in a circle of friends, like we have, where, everybody's kind of got their own business, or at the very least is, entrepreneurial in some way. Right. I feel like a lot of the people around me are, and then especially those that are outside the circle that don't really take risks or do anything like what we're doing. It's how do I say it? I guess it's you're going to be haunted by you're going to be more haunted by the risks that you don't take than the risks that you do take when it's all said and done, I think. And, to people that, like Phil was saying, if you're not in the arena, you'll probably never comprehend it, man. Most people don't go for anything. They don't, in their whole life, they play everything safe. Hey, I'm going to work here hopefully till I'm 65. Average age is 77. Maybe I'll live to 80. Hey man, that's
and then I'll start.
That's 15 years.
Then I'll start doing stuff.
When I'm 65, I'm going to start traveling, or I'm going to start investing, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right. And, you got to take chances, man.
I've never got, really in all aspects of life, why wait? Like people say, oh, he retired and got that car. I mean, why are you waiting till, if there's a reason, there is, but if you're able to, whatever it is you want to do, I mean, why wait till down the road? Do it now. Cause number one, there is a tomorrow. You really don't for you. So just do it now and enjoy it while you can. It's kind of how I was approached it.
Yeah, man. Well, I think it's a pretty, I think I've said this on the show before. I say it in my regular life a lot. It's pretty, people are pretty arrogant, or pretty, there's a lot of different words you can use. It's pretty arrogant to think that, you have more time.
Yeah.
You never know when the switch flips, right?
Yeah.
We're not in control of that.
Yeah. There's that balance. There's that balance there.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not saying that you should risk it all every single day.
Yeah.
But to think that you just have unlimited time, or you'll get started, like Sean said, then I'll start. To think that you have that time is, you're not thinking, man, because, it can go out. I saw, I'm not going to get into details. I saw an accident just the other day, a car accident where a young man died. And I was at the intersection and got out, and the point is he was on his way somewhere, and an accident occurred, and he wasn't planning on that. He wasn't he was just taking care of his business, heading wherever he was going, and it doesn't really matter whose fault it is, but he didn't have the any more time after that. Boom, the light switch went off.
Yeah,
and you can't. That's how I try to live. That's how I try to live at this point, man. The switch could get flipped at any time. So like you said, find the middle ground.
Yeah.
I'm risking everything. Yeah. I'm rolling the dice. I'm going all in on black 13, every single day. I'm putting all of the eggs in that basket, but also I'm not going to wait over here and I'll do that later whenever I have a little bit more money, or whenever I'm getting ready to retire, or I'll do that down the line. I'll set something up later. No, man, do it right now.
Do now.
Yeah. And so speaking of risk,
start moving in that direction now.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was thinking, speaking of risk, what are some of the more riskier moves that you probably took over the people that aren't here in the position that you are now?
I have one more question too to add after this one too.
I don't know that I don't know that I did anything riskier
other than the donuts.
The donuts. I think it was really just my attitude.
Yeah.
Because I've got to believe that there were some of them that were in my exact position who said, you know what, I'm done here. So I didn't do anything cutting edge. I think I just
stuck to it.
I have a persistence.
I know what you did.
I really do.
I know exactly what you did.
What I did.
I wasn't even there. You did what you said you were going to do when you said you were going to do it.
Yeah. I just stuck there. I mean, you know, probably what it was. I'll tell you this in a way. I think it was a couple of things. When I got laid off, it was really hurtful. It really was because no one in my life had ever told me, basically, we don't need you.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I had no recourse. I'm done.
You didn't have a backup plan.
Yeah. And I'll never forget the guy who made that call. I'm leaving the name quiet here, but his name actually was Phil, believe it or not.
So we got 3 Phils.
That's funny. I just thought about that. I'll leave it that part at that.
Me and Sean, both of our middle name is Phil.
A lot of Phils here.
I'm just kidding.
This man, so they took me to an exit interview, explained, you know, all this stuff, sign this certain contract. If you do this, you'll get all your money, blah, blah, blah. But this man had the audacity to sit there and then say with a smile, best of luck to you. And I looked at his hand. I literally looked at it. And I snickered. And I just walked. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
That was part one
Get
of the
your damn hands away from me.
So I was like, we're shaking hands. You just took away my livelihood. And then the other painful part was that they treated you in a way where if you've been let off, you know this, they're not gonna let you back in that day. You're going to come back in a day down the road to get your stuff, and coming back in under the eyes of somebody as if, I was here for 9 years and now you're going to tell me I'm going to do something bad. So that was insult. And I took a picture of my cube and I still have it. I said, I want this. And I took it and that's it. And I got my stuff and I look at it now, still not happy with that guy, but he probably did me the biggest favor that I could have ever done.
Yeah. Thing that happened for you.
I mean, then it was devastating, but you did me a favor. I'm at a better place now that I could have ever been if I was still there. I'd probably be miserable, to be quite honest. So I was able to finally see the other side of it going, man, it's hard to admit, but though he didn't mean to, his action did me a favor. And actually that was my motivation. That's the one thing I did think about.
Kind of put a chip on your shoulder a little bit.
Definitely did. And I'll, it'd be petty to do it, but I would love to find that guy. I know where he's at I know he went. Well, the last time, but I'd have to go from my office, take a picture. Hey man, I just want to let you know back in January 21st, 2008, you did me the best favor. This is mine now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank
Do
you.
you need some insurance?
And also, give me a call.
Oh man, dude, I just hope that, I got chills when you said that. I hope that, people listening to this, I know I got just a huge thing that I just took away from your story. Just because something feels so difficult right now, there's no reason that whatever this difficult thing isn't the 180 point in your life that you might need.
Oftentimes, and this is true in my life, and it took me a lot of years to realize it, when something that you perceive as really terrible, maybe it is terrible in that moment, happens in your life, if you can, one, endure it, not quit, and change your perspective, like Phil's saying, the 180 point in your life. Oftentimes, when terrible hardships happen, you will look back and go, thank God that happened to me. And man, I can think of countless in my life where, it was a bad situation and I'm not happy that it happened, but I leveraged it for good later. Yeah. And it benefited me in so many ways. Right. And man, I can't preach that enough, and people often would look at you funny. If you walked up and said, hey man, I had a great paying job back in 2008 and I got laid off, as best thing ever happened to me. Yeah. They're going to go, what? My old boss was one of the first people that I heard say this. He was telling me he's a mentor to me, still to this day. And a guy that, there's two guys, but one of them took a chance on me as an 18-year-old kid. And ultimately it's why I am where I am now. But, because he said, you know what? I like you, kid. I'm going to give you a shot. But anyhow, later on, after we become friends and he becomes like a mentor to me, he tells me a story about this, whenever he was a younger man, teenage, early 20s, maybe even mid-20s. He had a one or two small kids, and his relationship with his wife was kind of rocky. And he had this shitty job that he didn't like. He didn't take it seriously. And he had this boss that he liked. Him and the boss they liked each other, but the boss didn't take shit, right? And so he was kind of like, hey man, a couple of strikes and you're out of here type guy. So one day short version is he wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing, and the boss was like, all right, man, well, I've done everything I can for you, and you're fired, basically. I don't even need you here. You can go right now, and I'll mail you your check. Don't even worry about giving me the t-shirt back. Just go, right?
Damn.
And I'll mail you 2 weeks paid.
He said in that moment he was pissed off, and he was sad, and he thought that this guy didn't actually like him or love him or whatever type of bond that they had. And he's like, and that woke me up, because I realized, man, I got a rocky relationship with my wife. I got a couple of small kids at home, and I can't even hold down this baseline job, because he knew in his heart that he wasn't doing the things he was supposed to be doing. And he said he was pissed off for such a long time. And then short version is, again, he got his shit together, because he's like, man, I got to get my shit together. And now he is where he is now. And he told me, he was like, thank God when I was, 23 or whatever, that guy fired me for being an asshole.
Yeah.
He goes, and if I could find that guy, I would thank him. And this is a super high earning, super high performing individual that I know, that's just very intelligent. And he credits it to getting fired by this guy who was like, hey man, I'm not going to take your shit anymore. I don't need you. You suck, basically. And he turned it around.
If you can learn from a negative, that's a wise person, versus, I'd rather be that story than be 23 than you're at 53 going, man, that the same story over and over again. That'd be a tragedy there.
A lot of time people don't look for it because their feelings are hurt, or they're sad, or they're mad, or they're upset, or they're frustrated, and they don't look for it. But if you look for the lesson, I would say overwhelming majority of the time you can find a lesson in any hardship.
Yeah. One more thing I'd like to add to that too is being the delivery person in that situation. If you need to tell, so let's make another example here. Daryl's my best friend.
Yeah.
He does something bad. He does something stupid, and I let him get away with it.
And he doesn't say it to me.
And I don't say anything because I don't want to hurt his feelings, or I want to be a good friend or something like that. I'm doing him a disservice.
Yeah.
That is the opposite of love, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I'm really bad about that because I don't like confrontation. I'm really bad about it. Happens to me all the time. And you think about, if I say something, then this is going to happen, X, Y, Z. But then you have to just tell yourself, hey, the right thing to do is to be honest with this person and let them know. Maybe you don't have to get fired, but you need to say something.
Yeah.
Right? The person needs to know.
Kind of let them know about themselves.
They need to know. And then let that person go learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then they can actually learn.
Yeah. Tell them, hey man, from where I'm sitting, this is what it looks like. And I would say I'm a little more, Phil's not like he said, he's not really confrontational. He doesn't like to confront people if he doesn't have to. And that's just kind of his nature. I'm quite a bit less like that. I will confront somebody, and there was a point in my life where I probably actually kind of liked it a little bit, but I'm not there anymore.
You were down to tussle at one point.
Yeah. If I need to now, I don't want to by any means. Please guys, don't try to fight me. I will fight you, but I don't want to. There was a time, and both of these guys probably remember that time period in my life. But point is, somebody like Phil's always been my best friend. And even he's been one of the most constants in my life, the most consistent people that has been since we were 9 years old. He's been Phil. And then I'm the type of person that I'd say it's probably a little more turmoil, a lot more changes, ups and downs, where I went through these really highs, really lows, and Phil was always there. So point is, I know the type of person he is. I really care about him. It's always been hard for me to go, Phil, you're fucking up, man. When he is, because one, he doesn't really fuck up very much. Excuse my German. And two, when he does, I know how good of a person he is and how much he doesn't like the confrontation. It makes it hard for me. But that means that I must do it, right? Whenever I really feel like he's making a poor decision or he's heading down a path that's not going to be good for him. And I can probably count on less than one hand how many times I've had to be like, hey, Phil, listen, brother, this is what I'm thinking. I'm not trying to start because we don't argue, we're not trying to start a riff with you or whatever, but this is what I see and you need to fix it. And, if you really love somebody, if you really care about somebody, then sometimes it's tough love, so to speak, or it's honest love, so to speak, right?
It takes two friends. It takes two sides there. It takes one, the person willing to say it.
Yep.
Because they love you.
And the person that's
saying, okay, they're saying things I don't like, but they're saying it because they love or care about me.
Yep.
So,
right.
And a lot of times the other part, that's the harder part is the person to say, well,
yeah.
Well, that's, it's sometimes hard for people, but you got to see that.
Huge red flag for me because I know how Phil is. If he brings something up to me, it's a problem like that I'm having, right? And I'm like, fuck, if Phil's confronting me,
he called you
that
to
means
the
it's
office.
something that he really, really cares about, right? And I need to really look at this. And I think with age, one of the strongest skills that I've acquired and grown is self-awareness. I can step back now at 31 years old. And over the past several years as well, I've gotten.
You just aged me.
Yeah. At 31, I can step back and go, maybe I am the problem. Maybe, right? I need to analyze this situation. Am I, it's easy for people are conceited, right? We're naturally conceited and, somebody else is either annoying or aggravating us or whatever it is. They're always the problem, right? That guy, but I think back and go, well, is there a reason that they're treating me like this? And sometimes there's not. Maybe they're just an asshole. Yeah. But self-awareness is huge. And if you can step back just for a second and think that maybe you're the problem, or maybe what you're doing is the problem, or maybe you are the cause of whatever the issue is. Maybe, not always, but if you can sit back and at least consider it, huge advantage in life.
I think everybody can agree that if you were screwing up and then that, climaxed at an event, whatever the event is, and you're telling your friends or a best friend, they go, yeah, you know what? I've been noticing that for the past 3 or 4 months. Everybody would be like, why didn't you say something? Every single person would say, what the hell? Why
I always think that.
Why didn't you tell me I was, whatever it is.
XYZ thing.
Why do you want to hurt your feelings? Well,
dude, next time, crush them.
Yeah, please.
And the sooner the better, right? Whenever you identify an issue, the earlier on, like you're talking about several months, you can go, hey man, listen, it's starting to go this way. You need to pump the brakes. You need to step back. You need to look at this. Yeah. And if I'm wrong, okay. Or if you don't want to listen to me, also okay. But I had to say it because I care.
Yeah. And, I agree.
That's a big deal, man. And I don't know. We need more of it.
Yeah, right? I agree.
I need to be better. Everybody needs to be better.
For sure. We could all, and the acceptance thing, right? And if you accept that you need to be better, well, here we are. And we can start getting better. I did have one more question though about something that Sean had asked you a question earlier about what you did a little bit different or whatever. And one of the things that you mentioned that I think a lot of people do is overanalyze. So just quick and dirty, do you feel like something that you've never had an issue with overanalyzation? Have you always just not been afraid to do things and kind of go for it? Did you maybe analyze this situation too much? It took you too long? Tell us about that.
Me doing this, me taking this risk here is very unlike me. I don't take risks.
Not a risky guy.
I'm not a risk guy. So me doing this is like a fish dancing in the desert. They don't go together.
Okay.
That's a bad analogy.
You're pretty risk adverse.
Yeah, I'm definitely risk averse. So me to put myself out there on this was part one. There was a big thing. And then, cause usually what I do is I do break things down because that's my degree's in accounting and I did data. And
Good point.
I just
good point.
stare at spreadsheets, and that's all you do is just, stare and stare and stare.
I see this trend.
Yeah, that's all you do. And I kind of, when I got to do this, I was that rut there going, what do I do? Because I was going, what do I do? What do I do? And it was classic study long, study wrong kind of thing almost. And again, there was one face that comes to mind who fell off. He was developing all these great plans. Oh, we're going to do this and this, but he never actually acted on it.
Yeah, never actually did it.
Yeah.
We talked about it all the time.
Like they say, the worst plan is the one that never gets acted on, and that's exactly, and that's when I was like, wow, I've got to do something. So realizing that it's like, we can't, they say for us here, now do this now, you get a plan, push it in, typically 3 or 4 months. If it's not doing anything, that's a bad plan versus having the best plan in the world that's sitting on the shelf,
That's not, nobody's doing anything about it.
You know nothing about it. What is that plan? I don't know what the plan is, but I bet you it works. Well, who knows?
Goes back to the Jocko, some version of this. Where are you? Where do you want to go? What are you doing about it?
Yeah.
So you're here. You have this plan. I'm thinking this is where I'd like to go.
Yeah.
Here's the plan. Are you doing it though? What are you doing?
Yeah.
And so do more.
Yeah.
Do more shit.
Yeah.
So we had a show called that. Do more shit.
I think of what comes to mind when you talk about that is the fail fast mentality.
Yeah.
You have a bunch of plans. Well, let's get through the shitty ones as fast as possible so we can get to the good one.
Yeah.
As fast as possible.
Yeah.
Meaning you have to start now and start implementing.
Yeah.
You know?
Because you're going to fail.
Yeah.
I told my daughter that. She was like, what? And I was like, no, let me explain what's going on here.
Yeah.
So because she was kind of like, just making the perfect, like, well, you got to do something. Just do first. And if it doesn't work, at least wow, this didn't work. Good. You've learned, because not to sound cliche, but failing is actually a success because you learn something from the failure,
For sure. Yeah. I think that happens a
It
lot.
It helps
kinda
build
goes back to what
confidence
we were talking about.
also.
Oh,
Yeah, it
bingo,
can. Yeah, it can help build confidence.
Yeah.
The more you try these ideas out, you try it out, you put this in front of the customer, and then you figure out what works, what doesn't, and then it's like, okay, cool. If it's a certain sales tactic, it's like, you calling people more often or something like that. It's like, oh man, you're talking to more people, getting on the phone with them, building that confidence up. Now you can try your new thing and your new thing and your new thing. And so it's like, and then the big idea comes and it's like, awesome.
Yeah. And each time you do the new thing, the old one doesn't work. So you struck one off. So you're confident in the next thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That one didn't work. Well, this one's going to.
Yeah.
Right.
Or at the very least, you modify that plan. Okay, that plan
Yeah,
didn't work
yeah.
like that, maybe, and eventually abandon the plan. But 5 or 6 times in, but maybe it's a tweak, but you'll never know till you
Try.
Don't try the plan. You'll never know.
One more silver lining. If you fail, we can learn from it. You can tweak it. You can educate yourself. One more silver lining though, you can educate others too.
Yeah.
Hey man, I went down that road, brother.
True.
I tried that, and let me tell you, it looks great until you get here, and bam, you're gonna fall off the cliff, right, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
and
100%.
so you can use that to help others.
Yeah.
And the more I have found that the more helpful I am to other people, whether it's at my job, whether it's in my my real estate, I'm going to call it a business that I run, whether it's my friends, my relationship with my wife, the more that I help others, the easier, or the more they help me, which the easier my life becomes, right? Yeah. And you got to have people around you. You got to have a team around you that you do right by, and they do right by you, and man, because it's a tough world we live in, it's rough out there.
Well, it was funny when I got into BNI, and so I'm 51 now. I was in BNI, I think when I was 45, and I did commercial insurance to start off with in that chapter, and our PNC guy, Renee Tolman, walked up to me. How you doing, Phil? And he's an older guy, about to, retire pretty soon. Let's go talk about insurance. Whatever I have that I can do, I'll send to you, you to me, blah, blah. And it was foreign to me because number one, this is, the competition. Mm-hmm. Number two, it's another agent. Number three, I want all, because you want to sell, you want to build a business. But then, working with him, I realized, well, number one, we're in the fourth or fifth biggest city in the country. Yeah. There are plenty of human beings in this city who need insurance, and it's just an easy way to do things, and also again, learning from who turned out to be actually a very successful person, so there's, learn to expand that out there versus just,
it helps build a community within what you're doing.
And Or go ahead.
No, go ahead. Well, we still do it now. I mean, I'm very open. You want to work? Let's work together. I still talk to lots of agents from independents, other, focus carriers. It's just easier, and
Sure.
makes me look better too. When again, I can say, hey, I'm not competitive. I can't, but guess what? I've got a guy at
Wherever.
Go talk to him.
Yeah, we do that. Like people will call us looking for bodybuilding, for example. Well, we don't do that, but I got a guy who can.
Yeah.
And I'll send them. Well, I'm an athlete and I need to run faster. Well, we can help you out with the strength side of things, but we can't do anything, sport specific.
Yeah.
So if you want to do that, well, I'll send you this guy.
Yeah.
Right. And so you have your little referral list.
Yeah. It makes you look better too. Like,
People love it.
Yeah, definitely.
I have one really good example. I mean, I have multiple examples, but the best example I can give of that is a lady did call and she wanted help doing a bodybuilding like a fitness competition. And I said, sorry, ma'am, we don't do that. But I said, I know someone who does. Really great guy. Here's who you should call. Call him up. I'll call him also. Let him know that you're going to be calling. She said, okay, thank you so much. Call the guy. Hey, XYZ, she's going to call you. Here's what she wants. He's like, oh, cool, man. I really appreciate you sending me this person. She calls me 2 weeks later. Thank you so much. This is exactly what I was looking for. It is exactly what I want. I'm starting my competition prep this week. My competition is on this date. Again, just thank you.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're welcome.
Yeah.
It was a really cool thing. Yeah.
It's a big character builder for you and also builds credibility for your business.
Sure.
This guy's good. One of the worst ones, I guess, you talked about it a little bit at the very beginning. I'll just call them contractors. And I remember I went to my house and, we're doing some things. Hey, can you do this too? Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, jeez. Well, that's dangerous territory.
Yeah.
I know exactly what
And
you're
I was
talking
young enough
about.
to go, oh, he said, yeah, we should be good. And just did not.
No.
Next thing you know, you have a toilet in your fridge or something. It's like, wait, what just happened here? Like, what's going on?
Then you're talking a few months later, you're talking to a real one. Hey, can you do this?
Yeah.
Yes. Really?
In the photo and like video market, that's the same thing. It's like anytime anyone asks me for any work or any type of like questions, I'm an open book. It's like I hate when people gatekeep information, and it's just like I think it just shuts people off, or people that do that. I shoot weddings all the time, and then you get this like video that looks like it was shot no way, and it's like what's going on here? Like I just paid this guy like $3,000, like what? And he took the money and ran or something. But it's like, man, it's just sometimes you get people will do that and they'll put themselves in situations like just to get the experience. It's like, no. I think you should reach out, because now that you've been helpful to these other, photographers, videographers in the area, now you have a network where you can reach out to them and be like, hey, Chris, hey, can you help me with this wedding? I really want this job, but I don't really have the experience. Can you help me? And then, we'll split the bill, do whatever. And then you're just like, yeah, for sure, I can do that. And instead of just being like walled off and you're just going to do it all yourself. And then you end up with mad clients and not great work. And so it's just
a bad reputation.
Funny photo story. It kind of worked out, but it didn't. Me and my wife got married back in '98 and got a photographer. And she was a real photographer. That's what blew me away. She did her main photo that you put in the what's that called, the reception, beautiful photo. Everything was actually great photos, but I came on because she went through the proofs and she was crying. What's going on? The photos. Oh my God, what happened? And I'm going, well, these look fine. They look great. They were great photos. She goes, one problem. I think everyone would agree the one main photo that they want is going down the aisle. She took one. And my wife, and that was the photo. My wife, she was dead because it's the thing, I guess. But I was like I don't have a response for this because we can't roll back time. I don't know what we do here, but
that's a rough one.
That was pretty fun. It's funny now. It wasn't funny then.
Don't let her edit that out.
This was not one of those moments that you took a 180 in your life. This was one of those.
It wasn't funny that night. It's funny now. It's like, okay, well, that's cool. But you gotta, in all things, get someone who's gonna hopefully do it right.
And when we were talking about the trying things part, I was really, in my mind, I'm always thinking about like fitness and stuff like that, right? But I think that it's important, and maybe how we can maybe transition a little bit into about your fitness journey a little bit is trying things is important, like trying different food options, trying different meal preparations, trying different workouts, because the trick is to do the one that you like, and you're not always going to like everything. You know, you might despise weightlifting. Well, let's find something else that you can do. You might despise running. Well, let's try swimming. Right. But if you're not open-minded to try these things and be okay with failing at something because you're not very good at it, well, go find something else, you know, and that's just kind of what was going through my head, you know, when we were having that conversation. But what with, have you always been in the gym? I know the whole time that I've known you, you know, you're pretty into fitness, and I know that you still are now.
Yeah, no, I definitely am now. Not really. Growing up, I would run. I did a lot of running. That was my thing. I was like, well, what do I do? Let's run. Didn't care for weights. You know, all through high school ran just on my own. College ran on and off. Didn't really take it seriously. Got out of college, still ran here and there, did my thing. And then literally one day I was at a Rockets playoff party looking at the TV, and it was blurry. And I was like, man, I lost my glasses. And, you know, the time went by and I was like, what's my glasses? Eyes were fine. So I went to the doctor, and she said, you have high blood pressure. I was 28. And this is somebody who actually, Dr. McCree is her name, and I still remember her, and I'm thankful for it. She prays with the fear of God. I mean, she said, if you don't correct what you're doing right now, she goes, you will be dead by 50. Well, that's what she said. And it just, you know, kind of maybe in there, but it woke me up. And so, you know, she said, you need to start working out, lose some weight, And I say, okay, let's get serious. So I got serious. You know, I started going to the gym properly, consistently, made a part of my life. And it's under control now. I mean, yeah, it's under control. But more than that, it actually now, I work out now more because, number one, I want to, but now it's a habit. If I don't go, and our friends the same way, we've talked about it, I feel off. I mean,
not right if
I don't like it. You know, I do Monday through Friday. The weekends, I'm off on the weekends, but Monday through Friday, I do it. If I don't do it, it drives me crazy. And my kids knew that, and now my son, he's very fit. He's y'all's age, by the way, but he's all into fitness.
Extremely young man.
Yeah, very young man, very young man. Super fit. My whole thing when I used to, for me to brag about it, I was always never miss. And I never missed. Before COVID, I never missed. Flew, went to the gym. I mean, I had to be like knocked out to not go to the gym because I was like, I've got to work out because of what that doctor says. So I just, fear of God, always went 5 days a week, year round, and just did not miss. And when I didn't go, I was like, oh, I missed. But this was very rare. It might have been Christmas or Thanksgiving or something like that. But I always did something. And it's just part of my life now. I feel better. Now for me, I don't always want to go. I'm like, oh, I've got to go.
Oh, that's me.
Sure.
But I go. But the funny thing is, after that first set, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you kind of settle in a little bit.
Now, after that first 5 minutes running, okay, we're good now. But that startups, it's hard sometimes, but afterwards, I just feel better. You know, that sludge is not in me, and I just, so to speak, it's better for me that way, and I like doing it. And it's part of my life. It's just part of my life.
Is it that feeling that when you're sitting there thinking about not doing it? Is it because you know you're going to feel good later, or like what's going through your head there?
Why I do it?
Yeah, why you end up going anyways.
Just I know I'm supposed to go.
Yeah.
Quite literally, I just know that I'm supposed to go.
Sounds pretty simple.
Sounds pretty simple.
Had to be done.
Jared Guerin said that just the other day.
Yeah.
So, man, what made you take the plunge to start your own business? And he goes, had to be done. Next question.
Next. Yeah. Okay.
Dead silence.
Yeah. It's got to be done.
Yeah. One thing before we wrap this up, Phil, that I want to point out about what I'm glad Phil dug into your fitness a little bit here. The most important thing is you have made it, you have tailored it how you like it. You do, I'm sure you do the workouts that you like to do. You figured out, hey, I like doing these things. And you figured out what schedule works best for you. It fits your lifestyle. And what he told you upon coming to the gym, we have to be able to do this for the rest of your life for a long time. And, just hats off to you for doing that work, for making it part of your routine, figuring out what works for you, and just sticking to your guns, doing what you say you're going to do, when you say you're going to do it, right?
Yeah.
And super important in business and in fitness, right? So yeah, man, hats off to you. I feel like even for me, going to the gym is in my routine. And like you said, if I don't go 5-6 days a week, sometimes 7, I feel off. Yeah. I don't feel right. And what drives me is because there's a lot. If I go 6 days a week, 2 or 3 of them, I'm like, oh, I don't want to go, man. Yeah. But I know that how I will feel later that evening when I'm getting ready for bed or laying on the couch or whatever, and I go, man, I had plenty of time today.
Yeah.
And I did not go to the gym.
And I made an excuse.
I made an excuse.
I feel guilty. I feel guilty. I feel like I cheated myself. And I think that feeling, there have been times actually I've dropped my morning workout, got home, and other than my daughter, my wife, they're working. I'm like, fine. I get my stuff and do it. And that's what it, for me, that's a big part of it. Also, one more reason too, I'll just tell you real quick. I was at the YMCA before COVID.
Okay.
And there was a guy there, and I think he was at the time 71, 72, a Hispanic guy. He might've been about 5'8" guy, but totally fit. And you would see him outside. I mean, running, not, running. He'd come back to the gym. He'd peel off 20 or so pull-ups, just in great shape. Yeah. And I remember he told me, we talked about it. He was like, he goes, if you still with what you're doing, because I was always 5'8", he goes, you will be here someday. And I was going, I'd rather be like that at 71 than whatever it is.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, you can get longevity out of your life, but if you're not mobile or you're not,
it's not worth it. Yeah.
I'm not going to say you need to be Mr. Olympia at 71.
Yeah.
But if you can't get around well, then what kind of life do you have?
Yeah. No, he was the inspiration in that way. Just, really into the working out. Talked to every lady while he was there too. So he's a bit of a ladies man too, I guess. But he could definitely, people like that. He's, that's a pretty
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's awesome.
Real quick too, I think about sometimes, not always, I don't always leverage this thought, but I think about individuals who cannot move their body because of something that's out of their control.
Yeah.
They were born a certain way. Maybe there's some type of paralysis, and they're literally unable to move their bodies to get around because of something that's outside of their control. It's almost like us able-bodied owe it to them in a way. We don't, but that's how I tell my brain. I'm like, man, there's a lot of people that would love to physically be able to go do and move their body, move some weights in the gym, get around, get out and about by themselves, even walk. Yeah. There's people that would kill for that. Yeah. That, unfortunately for them, something bad happened or there was some type of, adverse event or whatever that caused them to not be able to. Yeah. So I'm like, man, I'm blessed to be able to move.
I totally agree with that. I mean, I just turned 51. Well, not really just, I'm halfway through it. I turned 51 this year, and I was thinking about the other day, I still get the comment from people when I go to the gym on my cardio. They're like, man, you're crazy out there. And it's not like old at 51, but let's face it, 10 years are going to go by, I'll be 61. I thought to myself, I said, you know what? It'll be totally cool if at 61, I'm working out the exact same way I am right now. And I hope I am. That'd be amazing to still, have, that kind of ability to do it that way. I want that. So, again, 10 years goes, I hope it doesn't go by too fast, but I would like to be in 10 years doing this exact same thing.
That's the goal, right?
Same lift, same
sustaining what you have.
Yeah. And just do it.
Yeah. And then you could be 71 and then you can talk to the guy and you're the inspiration.
There you go.
And then you're the ladies man. You're doing the pull-ups.
You're doing the pull-ups at 71.
Hey ladies.
Yeah, the restroom's over there.
Yeah.
See? Towels on that side.
I'll run you over there real quick. Yeah. Literally run.
Actually, the walkers were over there.
There you go.
The Advil's over there.
I love it.
That's funny. All right, guys, we're going for an hour and 15. I love all the things that we talked about. Anybody else got anything that they have to get off their chest right now?
I just want to say thank you for inviting me. I was apprehensive, nervous, scared, but no, y'all made it very
You started
easy.
off a little nervous and now you've gotten to where
y'all make this very easy, and we're just talking, had a great time.
Oh
Nice.
yeah.
Awesome.
That's kind of the model that we like to, there's a lot of people that either want structure or they like to hear, a lot more structure. Like I'm going down a list of questions, interviewing you. And I feel like you get the best little nuggets of info from the stories that people tell when you're having open dialogue, right?
No, this is much.
And so that's kind of how the model we like to have. We appreciate you coming on, Phil.
you.
How can the listeners contact you if they have insurance needs? If they want to just say what's up to you, what's your preferred? Is it email? Is it cell phone? What do you got?
Yeah, they can call my office at 281-791-0151.
Yep.
They can email me at pberrera, PBARRERA at farmersagent.com. I'm on El Camino, 17300. I'm there every day from roughly 10 to 6.
17300 El Camino.
El Camino, yeah, Suite 110. And or just, either way, give me a call. Want a consult, got a question, I'm there, always willing to help. And again, if I can help you, fantastic. If not, then, we can try again later or just whatever you need. Yeah.
Sure. And guys, from what we know of Phil, he does what he says he's going to do when he says he's going to do it. And if you're having a problem beating, if somebody's got a really good rate and you're going to tell them, hey man, you got a really good rate. Yeah. So y'all listeners at home, y'all check out Phil and Sean, for any of your insurance, fitness, content creation needs of all types, videography, photography, so on. Hit up Sean. But yeah, guys, hit up Phil for your insurance needs. Thanks for listening. Thanks, Phil, for coming on. And we'll take this one out. You got something else, Phil?
I just want to say long-time listener, first-time caller.
All right, let's go ahead and take this one out. So peace, guys. Have a good one. Oh, yeah. What? We got the fans cheering.
Nice.
Just a little combo action.
The fans went crazy just now.
There you go, man.
That was a good
We
one.
almost had one fan today.
We got a live audience here. All right, y'all.
The OTG podcast is filmed in front of a live audience.